Hi, I'm Jonathan Forgash of Queens Together. I am here for Flavors of New York with Father Mike and the Hungry Monk. We're at a church in Ridgewood, Queens, where they do their food relief operation.
My name is Father Mike Lopez. I'm the Executive Director of the Hungry Monk Rescue Truck here in Ridgewood, Queens, New York. The Hungry Monk was founded in 2017 as an organization that was going out into the community to meet local homeless populations and bring them nutritious meals and health care. Since 2017, we've become a full service food insecurity not-for-profit organization that's been combating food insecurity since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. We also operate the Monkworx network of homeless shelters here in New York City, currently serving the borough of Queens. And we've also pivoted to do migrant work, particularly with meals, healthcare, and immigration services. I've always enjoyed cooking. It's always been one of the things that I really like to do. And when we planted our first mission parish here in Ridgewood, we saw that there was a large need amongst the street homeless population for food and essential services. So we took our joy of cooking, got some volunteers together, essentially started with 4 or 5 church grandmas, would make fresh, nutritious meals at the church and bring them out into the community to serve and care for our homeless brothers and sisters. So Jonathan, this is our parish hall that turns 3 times a week into a food pantry. All these tables and chairs get moved around and this becomes a shopping style food pantry. You'll see some of the product that's ready for tomorrow, but I want to show you our restaurant and show you what we do over there.
Awesome, let's go.
I'm here.
What'd you do?
The Father Mike help everybody.
Yeah.
They help you. They give you something and help.
Tell them what we did with the trucks. What did you do with the trucks?
And the trucks, food, pantry.
Did you do the ambulance? Was that the truck?
He was in the food truck,
Yeah,
unloading the trucks.
and the food trucks.
During
and
the pandemic.
and the ambulance come too.
Yeah.
The ambulance come too, yes. He all right, yes.
All right.
I helping him. I working together with him.
Since when?
How many
Yes,
years
yes.
now? You've been with us?
7 years.
7 years living in our program.
Yes. I in the
volunteering.
program. I in the program in the breaking ground. In the breaking ground.
Yeah.
And I stay over here for 7 years. He wanted to send me somewhere, but I say no, because over here is like my family,
Yeah, man.
like in my family.
So tell me again why you took a restaurant,
Why? I don't know. It's a good question. So
right?
one of the things that we do, we have a 2-phase work rehabilitation program for our homeless men.
Mm-hmm.
One phase is cooking and the other phase is construction trades. So we took on in the construction trades group, we took on a restoration of a restaurant here in the community where a young lady was about to open a restaurant. So our clients were actually doing the construction and building the restaurant. Eventually she felt like she didn't want to move forward with the project. This was towards the end of the pandemic. And I realized it was a good opportunity to use the space so that we can feed the migrant community. We were just pivoting into the migrant crisis here in New York. And so we took on that restaurant space, brought together a concept, and we hired, that location is staffed 99% by migrants who have recently arrived into the country.
Amazing.
Most of whom had 0 restaurant experience. So we gave them a crash course in culinary operations, taught them our concept and our menu, and put them to work.
Is the restaurant under Hungry Monk, the nonprofit, or is this a standalone for-profit business?
So the restaurant is a standalone business that financially helps support the Hungry Monk with contributions. So we've dedicated 20% of our earnings to go back to the Hungry Monk and to All Saints Church for our food and security operations. And so that's how we kind of support both things at the same time.
Who came up with the menu?
I did. I've had this menu in my head forever. I've had this Cuban concept in my brain probably for over 20 years. A lot of it is stuff that I grew up with. The slogan at the restaurant is "This is not Miami." We really understand that the melding of the Cuban community with other Latino communities here in New York created a distinct New York-style Cuban menu.
Yep.
And so it's a concept, a menu that's been in my head for 20 years, but it's something that I grew up with here, even growing up in Bushwick, going to Cuban and Puerto Rican bakeries that had these sandwiches and these meldings of different Latin Caribbean flavors.
It sounds really good. I can't wait to try it.
Can't wait to feed you guys.
So we're at Benny's restaurant. Tell me about the place. How did it start and what are you doing here?
Yeah, so we're at Benny's Cuban Cafe here in Ridgewood on Freshman Road. In September we'll be celebrating our 2nd anniversary, and it was really a community initiative to have access to a kitchen that we could continue doing our community meals with, and at the same time a fundraising modality for us to continue to operate our food insecurity work here in Queens.
So you said something before. What's really interesting about this place to me is that you're also using this restaurant model as a training program and an employment program.
Right. So right now, at this moment, everyone, 100% of our kitchen that's currently working right now this shift are migrants who have come through the church or through our homeless programming. So we help train them, get them their food handler certificates,
Right.
Basic knife skills and basic cooking skills, and then brought them on as interns at our program, and eventually have hired them to work here and operate our kitchen.
What are some favorite items on the menu for you?
We are the self-proclaimed New York City's best Cubano sandwich.
That's a big one. Okay, we'll try that out.
But quickly being certified by the community that eats our food. Our huge sellers are ropa vieja, and obviously our bacalao fritters, which are our codfish fritters, that really are our best sellers here in New York.
All right, so we're gonna try Cubano.
Cubano and some maduros, and I hope you guys love it.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
So this is our maduro muffin, which is a homemade banana bread style dessert that we make with sweet plantains instead of yellow bananas. It's one of our biggest sellers right now at the restaurant.
And butter.
Always butter.
All right. And where'd you get this recipe from?
It's something we just created. We were losing some of our yellow plantains that was too sweet to even fry, and we didn't want to lose them, so we did what we did in the cooking world. When bananas go bad, you make banana bread.
Man, that's so good. That's really fantastic.
It's not too sweet.
No.
It's a little savory. Goes with everything. It's quickly become our newest bestseller. So we have our plátano maduro, which are yellow plantains, sweet and fried, which go well with anything you eat, either sweet or savory. You can have them for dessert or just for a regular meal. And then you have our famous Benny's Cuban Cubano sandwich. What makes our sandwich different than most places is that every sandwich our bread gets pressed twice, and everything goes on the grill before going into the sandwich. Most other locations have pre-built Cuban sandwiches that they put in the plancha. But all of our pernil, ham, and Swiss go on the grill prior to going in the bread for the second press. So it really gives you a nice crunchy, melty flavor, and you just really get all the layers of the Cuban sandwich.
Nice. Where do you get your bread from?
We don't disclose where we get our Cuban bread.
Fair enough.
This is real Cuban bread. It's not a French spaghetti or Italian bread. It is pan de manteca in the Cuban tradition, and we have it made especially for us by a baker.
Thank you. The famous Benny's Cubano. The bread has a nice smell and texture. It's good. Okay. Mustard, pickle, cheese,
Swiss.
It's really nice.
One of the things that a lot of people don't know about the Cuban sandwich is it was developed in Ybor City for the cigar rolling community. And you had Cubans who were the rollers, the tecedores who rolled the cigars. The Italians and the Germans were the engineers of the factories, typically working on the machinery and the carpentry of the boxes. And so they created a sandwich that would fit the entire community. So it's really an immigrant-inspired sandwich. The original Cuban from Ybor City has salami in it. So if you go to Ybor City or in Tampa, you have a Cuban, it's typically going to have salami in it, whereas that Miami Cuban does not.
So I read that article, some claiming that the cubano was invented in Tampa, and the first version had salami because of the Italian influence.
Absolutely.
But you're saying it came from Cuba itself first.
No. It was not created in Cuba. It was absolutely created in Florida to take care of all of the immigrant community that was working at the same time. Even the long diagonal cut of the Cuban sandwich was so it could be eaten slowly while people were working without getting them off of their work schedule. So it's really a working man immigrant sandwich that was created in the United States for multiple populations. The Swiss, the pickles, and the mustard for the Germans. The historically Italian bread would have been for the Italians with the salami, and then the lechon for the Cuban population. And this
That's phenomenal. So, do you like these?
I
love them.
I really love them, and they're great. Like I said, like for dessert, you can have them. They're great with ice cream.
Yeah.
It brings the sweetness to any meal. We do a version of the Key West street tacos here, and inside of those tacos, we've actually put a piece of maduro. So when you're getting a bite of it, it's just a full layers of flavor. It's really delicious.
What's the protein in the taco?
You could have either chicken, steak, or pernil. We also do them vegan. They come with rice and beans inside. They're like little burritos.
Right.
Rice and beans, avocado, and maduro. So you really get a ton of layers of flavor.
Wow.
And it's something that we stole from Key West.
So today we've been with Father Mike from the Hungry Monk, and we're at his restaurant, Benny's. And what I really love about this operation is that this church really nourishes the community. And now with this restaurant, they're able to nourish the people that work here. And with them, they're able to nourish the community with really great homemade food. I really have to applaud you. I mean, this is a really unique situation. It's
Thank you. Appreciate
honor to know you.
Looking forward to see you guys come again.
So this is Jonathan at Queens Together, and we're signing off for Flavors of New York here in Ridgewood, Queens. See you next time.
Ciao.
Ciao.